sweet, okay. Oh, oh, hello, my sweet. So won't you come with me? There's oh so much to show in this Jim Doc Distillery. And if you like bullshit or want some hobby tips, this nightmare priest, nigh unbinary herald magnificent welcomes you. Hi, my sweets. All right, doing it live. I don't know where the actual origin of that comes from. I just know Greg says it every time that they start streaming between the Bolter and me or Dragon Turbo Lasers. So that is why I always say doing it live. I miss those boys. I have not seen them. I haven't seen them since last year. Oh my goodness. Is that right? That's right. Yeah. Okay. Well, hello and welcome. Today we are gonna be doing a little bit. I'm gonna switch the OBS so it's the one that I can see. Yeah, that looks great. On that 50, baby, that 50 zoom. I don't know. Is it 50 millimeter? I don't know. Yeah, I'm really happy with the Brute and how it turned out. I really do wish I could figure out exactly. Because a lot of people have asked now what this head is from, and it absolutely is a helmet. As far as where it came from, oh boy, I have absolutely no idea, because it was one of the bits that was in like the 65 different scale model kits that I opened up from that yard sale last year. So my guess, where did it come from? Where did it go? Where did it come from? Hard Hat Joe. He doesn't look like a Joe. Good morning. Good morning, Brute. Hello. Hello there. He's just pointing. I'm really happy with how the finger turned out as well. I'm really pleased overall. Good morning, Roz and Possum. Wonderful to have you here as always. But yeah, I'm really excited how he turned out. Let's see, things that I did that you guys were not here for. I'll do the buckle again. That was a pain in the ass. This belt buckle. His belt buckle, if I can zoom in, baby. Yeah, I like that belt buckle. It's good. So essentially, I made that out of this little wire. This guy, which that is. I'll get the multimeter, not multimeter. Let me get the multimeter. I mean, I can do that if you guys want. It's going to be an absolute waste of a walk over to grab it, though, because it has no electricity running through it. But I can tell you the thickness of it. It's thick. But first I got to put the battery in, right? There we go. This is bum ba da bum 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 bum. Yeah, 0.49. I was thinking 0.5. Hey. Well, it depends. I can make it look like 0.49 or it's 0.5. But yeah, it's a half millimeter diameter. Itty bitty little piece of metal. And it is, I will pull out the little package that I got it from to verify. I want to say quote unquote music wire, which essentially music wire means like steel core. When you buy guitar strings, that is essentially almost like the kind of metal that's going to be at the center. I keep all my metal wires and this kind of shit. Metal rod. It is. That is not it. Music wire. Yeah. Is that? That's the same. I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm sure this has to do with some imperial versus metric shit, or there's all kinds of different ways to gauge how things are. But this says 0.020 music wire. That is what that is. As far as where 0.020, what measurement they're using to come to that, I have no idea. It might be inches, which is insane. I don't know. There's certain points where I'm just like, okay, we need to pick. I like metric, ironically, but that's just because it's easier typically to work in the. It's shockingly good. Thank you. I'm really excited about this guy. Also, check the multimeter on here. What's electricity like on here? Shockingly good. Alrighty. So, how did I make that little belt buckle? I took these itty bitty needle nose pliers. These are honestly my favorite needle nose that I've got. They are from Xuron, which is absolutely someone that I need to become friends with because they are an American-based company that gives a shit about their product. And I can't stress that enough. When I say American-based, I don't mean I only like to buy things that are from America. I mean, if anything, I mean that it's not good for companies like if they are American, and I love them because I might, I'm gonna come visit you. I don't know, just to make sure you're not Nazis. I don't know. But no, I like knowing the stuff that I buy that no one is getting fucked up or hurt from it when I buy it. So, and another note on that, I just read the comment yesterday from Bolter Blessings regarding a post or a stream a couple days ago about my comments on it was the Neil Gaiman thing, and then it led into the brand new. I just want to verify that or specify. Let me rephrase that any of my statements were not condoning anything that they did. My stance on that is I've always had a very, very, very difficult time joining art and artists together because they are so clearly separated in my mind. That is difficult for me to completely abandon artwork if it was made by a terrible person, because artwork is something that is, in my opinion, is beyond the actions of the person who makes it. I would hope that, if I did something terrible, unintentional or not, people would still think, yeah, that's a good model, because it is a good model. I did a lot of work and time went into this. But that's just, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I don't want to make anyone ever feel unseen or, unheard, or that this is not a safe space, because absolutely that is my number one intention. So I did just want to go ahead and speak about that, because when I read that, it did upset me greatly, because I don't ever want to come off that way. And then I got really paranoid that my response was to HR, which is weird. It's weird that, and I can't stress this enough, from working in corporate America, my response was not HR. That's not how they answer. Or not HR, but corpo. You got to have the real lizard person, like hindbrain shit going on. So I don't know if I didn't fucking talk about this. I'm just ranting about, trying to make sure I'm not misinterpreted. But I just made a belt buckle. That's what this is. Belt buckle. Hey, OBS. OBS. So that's a belt buckle. And the way I do that, I'll do another one just real quick so you guys can see. And yeah, eventually I will absolutely take the time and I will cut these into snippets and whatnot so people can see, hey, if you want to learn how to do blank, just click on this video and you'll learn really quick. Or making a, tutorial, or if someone wants to I don't give a shit. If you want to take the snaps out of this video and make it, hell yeah, go for it. Take the credit, baby. That's how you make a belt buckle. So very firmly holding, very firmly grasp it. And that's why I like Xuron. These are really, really fucking tiny, like tight little needle nose. I'm trying to think of how to fully explain all of the... So I have 3 different needle nose pliers that I use specifically for bending wire and making things. And then I also have... I got these from Where are they from? Micromark. Micromark. Micromark is one of the many companies out there, like kind of like UMM, um, but they make scale model supplies, and they make scale model supplies specifically for. I mean, they're absolutely. We are not their targeted audience. Like this kind of stuff is not their target audience because they don't. I don't think most of them think, oh yeah, they're out there cutting up, shaving pieces down to like half a millimeter. Nope, just a couple psychopaths. But I'm looking at you, Adam. You should feel called out with all of my love. And I say that solely because Adam is the only one else that I know that will take a pair of God hand snippers and like cut something and then be like, I could smooth that out more. It makes me feel not alone. Anywho, so the reason that I like these, or the reason I love them, they're my favorite needle nose. They're my favorite pliers that I have. One, they have very good grip. I like Xuron. I've not had any other products that I have not enjoyed. These fucking snips are also Xuron. These are photo etch scissors, but I use them for any kind of metal that is along that same kind of thickness as photo etch. And they cut through it like it's fucking butter. They are sick. But the reason I like these is because they are very tiny, which means that I can grab very small parts of metal, and because they are very high quality. Good morning. I'm still adjusting a new schedule. I know you have a new schedule, and I know I have a new schedule, so hopefully mine is not impacting that. But good morning, Gardner. Wonderful to have you here as always. But yeah, so essentially, and you can kind of tell. I don't know if at this point I've done that, like that they have been worn down, or if they naturally came like that. But I'm assuming it's my fault. But the head on these has slight variation in the thickness. This one is a lot tighter looking, and the other one is a little bit wider. So that's kind of useful, whether that's intentional or not. That doesn't really matter because of this. So they make all kinds of different tools to do this kind of thing. For a belt buckle, I would use this one because it's so much smaller. And I know that I will be able to hold it tightly while I bend. Now, if I wanted to make that, say, the belt buckle piece longer, I would take, so the widest that I could get would be, I would just ride, go down. I'm going to zoom out. I would just lower from using the very tip right here to further down in the middle, or I would actually move the piece along. But that bend that we get is from directly like bending at a 90-degree angle as hard and as tight as we can the metal against the plier here. That is how you make handrails or grab bars. I'll just make a grab bar right here. So here's a grab bar, kiddos. Bam, that's a grab bar. If we cut the piece about, that's dumb, but I'm gonna do it anyway. If we cut the piece right there, bent that up, made it a little bit straighter. That was just a really quick one. But if we bent that, we could then drill 2 small holes in the side of a tank, in the side of a piece of anything, and glue that in, and it would look like a grab rail. That is where a lot of, hey, that's how you make certain shapes and stuff. I learned a lot of that by picking up tips from old school hobby, like scale modeling. That's where all the wealth of it is, really, because I can't stress enough, people can invent all the tools they want, but the older a model is, typically the shittier it is, and the more work you have to put in to make it look good. So if you see an old ass model kit that looks dope as hell, that old guy probably knows what he's doing, and he's probably got some crazy tips and tricks. I'm looking at you, railroaders, like scale model railroad people. They know what's up. We're gonna just jump right into it today, and I'm gonna start sculpting because I want to finish the sprute, and then I want to get onto the night. I think I don't need to smooth that out anymore. I'm going to work on Yeah, that looks like a good spot to keep it in. I'm gonna work on cleaning up that tree a little bit. So, number one reason that I like epoxy green, aka green stuff, that was my gateway. My dad was a railroader. Hell yeah, dude. I'm trying to think. So the first model kit I ever got, first model kit ever, I don't even know where half of it, not even half, 90, I don't know where 100% of it is at this moment. But it was a diorama for the Battle of Hoth. I think that was the very first model kit I ever got as a kid, which, as someone that did not know they were getting a model kit, I was not too excited. I thought it was like a play set. That was an old ass model kit though. I'm sure I've probably got those parts somewhere at my mom's house. That would be kind of a fun thing to fix up. The AT-AT I just built while recovering this past weekend was very fun. A very repetitive build. I will say, if you don't love the AT-AT, if you're not like, man, that's a nostalgic part of my childhood, and you're just like, I want to build a fun kit, that's not the kit I would pick. It is not the best bang for your money if you're looking for just sheer enjoyable things, because it's a very repeatable, like the whole thing, it's 4 legs and like a body and you're pretty much done. And you could buy, seriously, 3 aerials. You could buy 3 of the high grade aerial for that price, and I think building that same kit 3 times would be more fun. That's one of the funnest fucking kits I've ever built, though. And I stand firm by that. If anyone can find a model kit that is more fun to build per dollar, I would love to hear about it. And I mean that truthfully. But that is, I think, $13, and it is one of the best designed model kits I've ever seen in my life. If you are wanting to get someone into model making, that's my pick. Easy. Yeah, love that kit. Love that kit. So, I did a little bit of cleaning, but not too much. Here's some string. So we're probably going to be doing some of that today. But first and foremost, we got to get to sculpting. Because if I don't start putting the clay... Hey, I got a little ball already. If I don't start putting the clay together, it never happens. We're going to put some gloves on, too. Don't look at my hands. Zipper in the morning. Alrighty. Also, I guess I could show this before I start blasting. I don't see so good, so anyway, I start blasting. I can show you the big old red wall. Red wall. I got well, you can't see this. I'm not even in camera now. But I got a water spraying system hooked up in a Johnny's tank, and I'm really happy with it. It's got her blooming new growth a lot. And there are actually a couple aerial roots that I just now noticed. So it's able to keep the humidity, and we are rocking at 80. Yeah, 80. Which, as long as it is at 80, a ficus will continue to grow aerial roots. So, and the main goal of that is to eventually have this thing looking like some mangrove kind of stuff. You know. So here's big red wall. Makes me feel like Ronald McDonald. I don't know. That's all I can think of like this. I don't know. That's the first thing I thought was, man, I feel like I'm fucking Ronald McDonald here. But one thing I will say, if anyone else decides to jump into the pit with me and is printing off this monster cathedral, there are the section called high walls. This is high wall number 1, and then there's a high wall number 2. High wall number 2 has a tree sculpted in it, which I appreciate, but I don't want the tree there because I would rather use I would rather make my own tree. And then I realized that high wall number 2 is just high wall number 1 mirrored, and then a tree sculpted on it. So to save anybody else time, if you were thinking, man, I don't want that tree there, just take this and mirror it in your slicer, and then print it, and it will be the same thing without the tree, without any cutting or any other work. So just wanted to throw that out there for anybody else. Trying to be the change I want to see in the world. Might buy a bunch of bees and release them. You would be surprised how cheap you could buy insane quantities of insects for on the internet. I've not looked into it in a long time, but I remember at one point in time you could buy a couple thousand ladybugs for like 20 bucks. And if you don't think of a funny thing to do with thousands of ladybugs right now, work harder. Up your game. Up your game of crazy. Man, they would smell so bad. That was the thing. 1,000 ladybugs. It's just like, God, what do I even do? What am I gonna do with all this? Someone's gotta get these out of my house. Yeah, another thing. While I'm here, I don't want Germany and Canada to continue to beat us in all things. So I am moving forward, making sure that I store my clays properly. Shout out to my boys Hydra and Modern Synthesist for teaching me the error of my ways. However, they did not teach me the error of my ways and include that I need to make sure I don't get too deep of a jar. And I've got littleish hands. I don't have little hands. They're average. I have average sized hands. They're proportionate to my body. My little hands can kind of fit in there, but not all the way. So yeah, it's gonna suck. They were right whenever something is at the very bottom, because I can't reach it. Found that out with this. So we'll see. Yeah, sucks. It's not gonna be good when that's stuck like more. Okay, so making a little epoxy green. My friend Nick came up with the name. Ba-down. Epoxy Sculpt, send me stuff. I don't know if Epoxy Sculpt wants to be on. Nick makes things that I feel like are a little bit more like, yeah, we can get behind that guy. And I feel like if Epoxy Sculpt sees what I make, they're going to be like, I don't know if we want to. I don't know if we can afford to get our pride mixed up with all that shame. Ain't no shame. It's just crazy. Yeah. Okay. Got a little bit more blue than I did yellow, and that's fine. We'll just take a little bit less. And to answer that question for anybody that does not know, why would you keep them in jars? Why would you do this? If you're watching us, just so Kneadatite, which is what this is, Knead, Atite. Also, if you are buying it from anywhere under the name Green Stuff, you're probably paying exponentially more than you need to. Kneadatite is the name of the actual product, so if you can buy it like that, it will probably be cheaper. The people that you will buy it from under that name, though, probably will sell it in a roll. Some of them would do tubes. I'm going to have to cut a little bit more of that blue off there, I think. I don't think so. It's going to be a little bit more blue. No, it's not. I'm going to do it. I don't want it to be. I don't like an consistent blend of green. It's not good. And that Epoxy Sculpt does not do the same thing. So Green Stuff, if you have it exposed to air for too long, if you have it in contact with its counterpart for too long, it will start to harden. Grab a little Nivea. Nivea, isn't it? It's because of all the vinegar, isn't it? Oh, we love Jeezy Creasy and his miracles. Jeezy crazy, we call them. That is one of my favorite bits from My Brother and Me, is when they are talking about the difference, I guess, kind of between England and America. And I think they're at one point they're like they're talking to each other about religion and whatnot, and they're like, they've got that over there. And then they're like, Jeezy crazy, we call him. We love him and his miracles, don't we? I always found that very funny. I do enjoy the McElroys. They're funny boys. Funny boys. Even though I wrote multiple times asking them for help with the situation, and they wouldn't answer my question. And I get it. I think that's fine. I think they did kind of answer because they were like, hey man, we don't want to get involved in this. But yeah. You're a funny boy. I'm a funny boy. I try. I don't know if I try. I think it just comes out. It's the Holy Spirit. If anyone would like a recommendation for if you're like, hey, I'm only going to listen to one episode of My Brother and Me. What episode do I listen to? Don't worry, honey. I got you. It's the Garfield monstrosity. That is the best episode in my opinion. It is a very, very, very old one. When they were a lot less unhinged, or when they were a lot more unhinged. They definitely settled down. That one is one of the wildest, and I laughed so hard while listening to that episode. Now, hopefully that's not aged bad. I don't remember if anything horrible is in there. Just the context of, and to bring anybody into light of who doesn't know what the McElroys are, they're a podcast. It's an advice show for the modern era. You write questions, and they answer it for you. And in the early days, they also would pull questions off of Google Answers or Yahoo Answers. I don't remember which one. But the Garfield monstrosity was them doing their damnedest to try and help someone through the mental state of being attracted to Garfield. Not physically, but mentally. And that's where the whole thing turns into Pam Body Garfhead, because it was just like, in their heads, like, Pamela Anderson, Garfield looks like a very attractive person, but it's Garfield in their mind. And it's just like, man, it's worth listening to if you like deranged, unhinged comedy or nonsensical comedy. If you don't, why are you here? I guess you got me on mute and you're just watching what I do. And to that I say touche. I'm gonna sharpen up my tools. So this is just a little pokey tool. I like it a lot. Might be my first sculpting tool. This might be my first sculpting tool. Maybe. I think it is. No. I have another one. This is from a set that I got later on. I think it's like a dentist tool. But I use this one a lot. Atri, she's awake. She lives. Welcome back to the land of the living, into the waking world. I'm getting into some sculpting. And then I'm gonna use this little color shaper, and we got some Nivea on it. We're just gonna do some smoothing. Smooth. Like a smooth criminal. Yeah, we can see that. I really need to maybe move my cart closer to me so I don't have to squint. But yeah, it's looking good. We're looking good already, BB. Oh, hi, baby. I I don't know if I ever talked about that, but at my birthday, I said something in the lines. I said, "Oh, hi, BB," to my friend Doug, and then my friend Hannah was just like, "Why do you keep saying that?" I was like, "Oh, it's just funny, kind of like Doug and I. We just say that to each other, and it's. I mean, it's just copy paste every OnlyFans person, um, which was just a run on that I have an OnlyFans for my feet because they are both fucked up now. Um, yeah, this one is not so bad. Actually, no, they're not both fucked up. I've only got one. It's just that one. I don't know why. What did I think I did to this foot? I thought I did something to that foot. Oh no, I did. I broke, or no, I didn't break it, but I had the boot. That's what it was. Man, this year's been wild, huh? I don't have an OnlyFans for my feet. Anyone who's looking for that, I'm so sorry. And that's not a, I'm sorry, I'll fix that. That's a, I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. You don't want to see my feet, they're ugly. Yep, yep, yep. Do you know how to teleport to P-Brain? P-Brain. Is that... Wait. I don't. I don't understand. I don't... Do you know how to teleport to P-Brain? Or is that teleport P? Like, as in, like... No longer have to pee because, like, you just teleport that out of your brain. I mean, I do kind of know that. You just act like you don't have to. Um, a key part is having ADHD and getting really fixated and getting all your dopamines from like whatever you're working on, and then you're like, man, I don't have to pee. Peeing's for the weak. And then you get up and you're like, I think I'm gonna die. And that's typically how you end up like at the truck stop or whatever, like standing at the urinal, and like a guy walks up and he pees, and then another guy walks up after that guy and he pees, and you're still peeing, and you're like, I'm not a weirdo. I just clearly should have stopped hours ago. Yeah, it's not healthy. Go to the bathroom, kids. Friends. I'm going to say friends, not kids. Gross. I don't want that to be misinterpreted. Go to the bathroom, friends. Don't hold it. It's not healthy. It was okay. Do you know the teleport pre-name? There was a fake porn bot on Tumblr that would. That's so good. It was for an ARG that had a very unsatisfying ending. Oh man, that's upsetting. Peeing is my most powerful emotion. Nothing can stop me from wanting to talk. I do. No, I can't stress that enough. I'm not trying to like. I'm trying to make sure like, hey, do as I say, not as I do. I'm also saying it to myself though. But like hey, you got to remember, you got to get up and go to the bathroom. Which another thing, because I don't watch too many other like. I guess I do. It's just different. I guess I don't watch anybody and they're like, oh, I gotta go pee. I'll be right back. But Stan was actually having me watch other streamers the other day, and I realized, oh hey, other people do go pee. They do get up and they're like, yep, I'm still a human. So I don't need to have unrealistic expectations for myself, which is just a good statement to talk. Just to talk about. Don't have unrealistic expectations for yourself. It's very hard not to, though. I'll say that. I don't want to. Yeah, setting realistic expectations is difficult because you don't know how much you can do until you've done it, and then all these things. So, number one lesson of sculpting is keep an eye on where your hands are. And I forgot about where mine were for a brief second, and I got really scared. I thought that I had goofed up what I just worked on. So he is turning his arm like that, which means that the muscle is going to be straight Yeah, I thought I handled that well. There's the elbow. Yeah. No, that's good. I'm okay with that. The muscle could be a little bit more defined, but I mean, he's going to be covered in dirt and stuff as well. I might smooth out that bit right there. Just because that does look a little weird and suspicious. What you got hiding in that muscle? Not where humans are shaped. Alrighty, so some folks will even take a full 5-minute break. That's crazy. That's not crazy. That's so the chainmail on here. I'm really happy with how it turned out. That is cheesecloth, if I am not mistaken. Specifically, this cheesecloth. It's very dirty. I'm pretty sure this was some kind of little bag. Maybe one that you would wash things in. I don't know. It's very old, very ratty. And I was like, man, that's a good little fabric pattern. Looks a lot like chainmail. Yep, it does. So then I just took it and I cut it out of whatever it was on. I'm pretty sure it was a bag. I'm pretty sure it was a bag, probably for, if I had to guess, something related to aquariums. Most things that I find are in my house that I'm like, I could reuse that. So we've got that filled in now. And I do want there to be a little dip. I want there to be a slight change in the texture on the top, just to show that it's not smooth. Some little dips, little dings. I filled in on this side. There was a yeah, on this side there was a Nurgle icon, the 3 dots. I filled that in because I did not want that to be recognizable from something from 1490 Doom. Other than that, there really wasn't too much of that kind of stuff on the Blight King that I used, other than where the fabric is in the front. But I ended up cutting that. Oh, nope, I'm thinking of the other one. So no, that was pretty much it, I think. Also, I think I said yesterday that this was one of the Gore Chosen guy, the chest piece. I want to say that the chest is actually the guy from that box set that has the crazy bone, like dread, like not dreads, but like ponytail. He's got a bunch of hooks or weird stuff on his face, and he's screaming, and one of his eyes is Adam Yules. What model are these? So these are for 1490 Doom. This is a brute that I have made. 1490 Doom is you only have 3 models per side. This is the Doom company. They are called Doom Warriors. 3 of them together would be your Doom company. One of them is a captain. The game is played on a 2-foot round board. And the whole objective is pretty much like getting to the high ground. In the world of 1490 Doom, there is a plague that is rising up from the ground itself called the Creeping Death, choking all life. So everyone is essentially making their way higher and higher while fighting and struggling for supplies and whatnot to stay alive. And this is the first of the models that I made for my wife's Doom company. So this is the actual sculpt that the guys at Viewer Games had available. And while I do very much like it, I really want to make sure that I doom-ity doom-doom-doom, doom-it. Yeah, I love Doom. Doom-to-doom. I'm not going to sing the Doom song because it never ends. But yeah, the Brute, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I got to fix the back of the legs a little bit, and just a little bit of tidying up with green here, but I'm really pleased overall though. And back there, he's got a couple of little spots, just a few little spots, and then we're going to move on to the knight. Bump, bump, bump. Uh-oh. That's not down. We're going to have to use a little super glue. Cyanoacrylate if you nasty. Making sure. Nope. Get back up here. I got to keep my hands where you all can see them. Nice and easy. Trying to fill in that little spot. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. And there's definitely going to be grit on here, so nothing needs to be too perfect, but I absolutely have enjoyed having look sick. Thank you, Adam. I absolutely have enjoyed how much more detail I'm able to put into it, and like I don't want to spend days and days and days and days and days and days and days working on models. I want to be able to knock out what my goal is in mind when I start to work on it pretty quick, because I've got so much stuff to do to try and get everything ready so we can start presenting. And I just want to show what I enjoy making. So I'm really excited that each one of these, giving the each side only needs three models. It's way more time I can spend. They're also a little bit bigger. So these are, the actual sculpts are, I would say, 40 millimeter. They are taller than, they're about the same height as a Primaris, actually. We'll just leave it at that. That's a very easy, yep, okay. But yeah, so, which is kind of difficult from a, kit bashing standpoint, only because, big as his arm. No, that looks reasonable. Just trying to make sure I don't need to make that forearm wider. And it's just like, no, he's already jacked as hell. So, and then that arm, yep, the muscles would turn. Just trying to make sure that I've got somewhat realistic looking musculature underneath this arm. And I need to fill that spot right there. Right where the arm merged. As far as what the rest of the model was based on, I think it started out as a Lord of Plagues, like that old Games Workshop Nurgle Lord sculpt that's holding an axe, and it's like against its stomach. I don't even know if they make that one anymore. It's been so long. I bet they probably do. But it's the model that like all the Blight Kings pretty much look like they draw their design notes back to it, because they probably do. But that is where I believe the legs are from, and they have been cut, and a bit of MDF, not MDF, a bit of styrene has been added in there to raise them to be the same length as like Primaris legs. And then the chest is, I want to say it's maybe the Blood Slaughterer. Is that the Blood Slaughterer? He was like an icon bearer or something. He had the big, it looked like a circle or like a U almost in that AOS box set. I'm pretty sure that's what that chest is from. And then the rest, it's Orc arms, Blight King shoulders, a helmet from some 135 scale model kit, I believe. It's almost like Lego helmet, like almost the size of like a Lego helmet. But, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there was like a motorcycle model kit, like a police bike motorcycle, in that big bunch of model kits that I picked up last year, or not last year, but whenever I did get all those model kits at the yard sale. And that is where the majority, well, not the majority, that's where the largest chunk of my bits box came from, but the majority of it I had long before that. Accumulation of 20 something plus years. 25, 26, 25. Yeah. So next, we're gonna definitely be gritting up those legs. So I don't know. No, we need to fix that. That's not good. This does not look good right there. Is not filled in enough. We want that to look right. The more detail we add in other places, the more we need to make sure that our basic proportions are right in other spots, even if they're not detailed. because yeah, it will make it look weird when they see it, especially if we've put the time in on everything else. That is the, if you're gonna put the time in, put the time in. But if you're not, then don't. And don't worry about it and just cover it with some stuff. And I do that sometimes, but not all the time. Intention, knowing what you're wanting to get out of each piece, I think definitely has a lot to do with it. Oh boy. Yeah, that looks good. I'm feeling like that looks spaced correctly. So now I'm just gonna add a little bit up here for that knee. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, bow, bow. Poke, poke, poke. Poke. Alrighty. We're getting there. Ooh-wee. Maybe I should, yeah, I'll hold my hands up here. That way I can see a little bit better. Ah, Eli, what are you doing? There we go. Found it. Icon guy is a blood secretor. Blood secretor. Blood secretor? The blood secretor. Thank you, Ross. That is the chest piece of this guy. And then these. Honestly, at this point, I don't remember if. I think those straps are part of the model. And I think here, yep, right there, you can see. That's styrene. That's styrene, right? I didn't sculpt that. No. Yeah. We'll scratch a little bit of the paint off there. That really thick-ass primer that ruined everything. I had to repurpose the model years later. Yeah, no. So that's styrene. If I had to bet, I would bet that is 100% the thickness of a yard sale sign, because that at the time was about all the styrene that I would buy. Because you can get yard sale signs for exponentially cheaper than you can buy styrene in bulk. So that was a good chunk of all of my scratch building supplies were typically that thickness because of that reason. That needs to be cut there, but I can do that later. Once this is dry, I want to get that knee. I want to get the knee cap looking right. And to do that, we're going to need a little bit more green stuff on there. Epoxy green. Keeps your teeth clean. Don't eat it. I just want to specify that. I don't know what would happen, but I would assume it would not be good. Mainly because of the two-part epoxy. Honestly, all of it. Don't eat any of it. Don't eat your hobby clay. Hey, Clay. Yeah. We're going to get a little lip on these knee pads. Yeah, that looks great. Hey, look at you go. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Nice little lip on there, looking like an actual knee pad. Oh boy. I bet if you drop that on somebody, they'd be like, man, that hurt. That was a knee for sure. I'm liking that. I'm happy with that. So yeah, we now need to keep that same kind of look on the other side. I'll get a little closer so you can see. Man, oh man, I need to bring my little cart closer to me so I can actually make sure you guys can see this correctly. Yeah, so that's what we just sculpted here. That little lip. I'm going to push it forward a little bit because we want it to kind of stick up. Yeah, there we go. But it's non-toxic. Which one is... Wait, is epoxy sculpt non-toxic? Does it say it's non-toxic? Oh my gosh. That's not good. Don't put that on your box, on your labels. I gotta check. Where did I put those? Where's my goddamn lawnmower? It's Resident Evil biohazard reference for anybody. I really, really love that he says that a lot. I don't know. I don't know where my epoxy sculpt little bottles went. I'll find them. Are they not? I don't know. Oh God, wait. Roz, no. Just eating all the epoxy sculpts. I don't know. They might. So Nick made a very modern synthesis. Was very concerned about green stuff specifically. I don't think epoxy sculpt he was ever concerned about. I don't know. I don't know. Don't eat it though. I'm not gonna tell you what to do. I am good. Don't eat epoxy sculpts, my sweets. I can't stress that enough. I don't want to tell people what to do. I do want to tell people not to eat things that I think probably are not good for them, like health wise, like safety wise also. I'm putting my foot down. Speaking of putting my foot down, we got some stuff to talk about because so I watched Speak No Evil last night. Gotta say, I did not care for it too much. I went into it, I think Sam made the comparison between Bring Her Back and Speak No Evil. Eat it, got it. Eat epoxy sculpt. Epoxy sculpt is for eating. Check. Damn it. Okay. I've got to. Hey, I know what I could do. Haha. I'll just scooch down just a smidgen. Yeah, that's great. Now you guys can see exactly what I'm doing here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Big tough guys. Yeah, I'm really liking how these are starting to look. These little knee pads. They're looking pretty nasty. Like some pretty roughed up metal, but I've got the shape kind of locked in like I'm wanting it. Yep. Yes. Oh no. Nah, nothing to be upset about. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Poke, poke, poke. I'm liking it. All right, now we're gonna come get a little bit more. I probably should have done that in the first place, and I'm gonna be like, man, now I messed up what I just worked on. But I don't think so. Oh, that looks right. I'm gonna pop off the old glasses. I'm sorry. So I want to make sure that my hands are where you guys can see them, which means I'm gonna drop a little lower here. It's very weird. I used to only wear like contacts pretty much, but at some point I pretty much stopped and just switched to glasses. I think it's just like the first step of like, I'm fucking done masking. I don't want to, I'm tired of doing this. I think I just want to have my eyes. Glasses are just easier. And also, so I know that my vision is like plus whatever, so I do see very well up close. And that was a big part. A lot of people were encouraging me to get LASIK, and I was not wanting to do that because specifically the things that I enjoy doing the most are very up close, and I don't have to have glasses to see that. So with LASIK, a lot of times you can reverse, and then later on you just don't see things as well. Oh no. I felt a little bit of a pull on this glove. So now we get to figure out, it was the shoulder. Damn it, I did it. My sweets. I didn't listen to my own rules. Rule number 1, where are your hands? Rule number 2, where are your hands? Yeah, okay. All right, we're okay. We're okay. We're okay. I messed up all the little dents that I put in there. And I think they're back pretty much. Yeah, that, and not to mention I can also absolutely go in and add any little dents later physically. So, whoo boy. We might. I feel so low. The whole like your eye flap can come undone is absolutely terrifying. Yeah, LASIK is really scary. I don't like any bit of that. The whole like, now it's time to cut your eye. I'm like, no, thank you. I think I'm good. God, oof. So yeah, that's horrifying. I'm not down with that. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. You know what I do like? The eye poke machine. I'm just kidding. Anyone who likes Dead Space probably remembers the eye poke machine. It's a disturbing part of that game. Oh no, I had my hands out of the view. I'm so sorry. One of these days, folks will have cyber eyes just waiting for. Dude, yeah, like I can't stress enough. We're getting there. Eventually, it's gonna be cyber. I don't want it, but I want to tell them. I told you so. Pop-ups. I told you so. Pop-ups. Pop-ups. I told you so to pop-ups. I love that. I don't want to, but I want to tell them I told you so to pop-ups. That's, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna happen. That's horrifying. Ugh. 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 Eh. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That knee looks good. Any more like really fine tuning of like the edge, and I think it'll look too well done. Like nice. Like I don't want it to look like this has been well taken care of. I want him to look like he's been doing the kind of stuff that he does, like throwing people off of castles. Yeah, yeah. I'm a big fan of the Brute. I've not personally played with the Brute yet, but I will say, playing 1490 Doom, he is 100% the model that I am like, okay, the name of the game is stay the hell away from that guy. Uh, Especially with my little cat priest. Alrighty. Maybe scooch, scooch, scoochy. About there. Yeah, I'm feeling good about that. That's looking good. I'm loving it. Almost. Yeah. Okay, I was trying to make sure you guys can still see what I'm doing. Just doing a little bit of blending here. Trying to smooth out this knee pad. Possum, did the corporate visit go well yesterday? I do not miss those. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm really liking these knee pads. This was a good choice. I'm glad I went back and messed with them. I was debating if they were okay as is. They were not. They needed a lip. That looks rad. It also separates the leg and the chainmail on the leg much more defined. And I think that is definitely a good choice. We need to go forward with them a little bit so they're curved and not laying against there. Yes. Oh my goodness. Huzzah. Is that it? Come on. Yeah, that needs to come forward a little bit. So like, yeah. Yay. I think I'm gonna smooth those bad boys out just a smidgen. We're gonna call that one done for right now because it's pretty wiggly and I'm not wanting to mess up any of this detail that I've done until it's dried, and then I can go back in and mess with some stuff. So yeah, that I'm very happy with that. Ha, no. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Possum. I had my guess, but I'd hoped that it was a little bit better. I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. I think he's about ready for paint. Well, you got to dry first, but I think he's ready for paint. Yeah, those knee pads. Hell yeah. I'm about it. I'm about that life. All right. I'm happy with this guy. I'm thinking we're going to call him Done. Not his name, but he's just done. I'm done. Yeah. Yep. All right. Hell yeah. That's rad. All right. 1 down. 2 to go. Oh boy. Maybe I'm going to adjust my chair a little bit because I feel like I'm sitting in the pit. I fell into the pit. Yeah, no, this is good. I just got to keep my hands here. Yeah. Alrighty. Man, cyber eyes are going to be scary. The people in charge don't know what they're doing, and then someone comes in and says, "What are you doing?" That I cannot stress enough. Summarizes corporate America. Which is kind of fun in some extent. Like, I can't stress. I can. It depends on the level of involvement, of personal involvement for myself in those situations. Like, if I'm not affected by it, or if I'm like, man, this really doesn't have a really long-term effect on my mental health, it's funny in the sense of like, you guys don't see what's happening. Like, you guys really don't know that. We all know you don't know what you're talking about. Like, but then it's like, okay, well, now I'm kind of upset because like I feel like someone should do the right thing. People are goofy, but what do I know? I'm doing my best. I am but a humble thing. And then my team is pulled to fix the problems because we're the only team they can rely on to do things. They can't hold anyone else to a standard. Yeah, I wish, Possum, I cannot, in all of my suites, I wish that I could tell you that that's not how things work, unfortunately, but that is absolutely. The more that you demonstrate that you are capable and are aware of things, the more like people just start to rely on you in that sense, and like, oh, okay, so then you start pulling way more than your share of the weight. It's silly. I don't know. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm sorry. I am very sorry for you, Possum. That sounds frustrating. That is frustrating. That sounds frustrating. It just is. Okay, this is where I naturally want to sit with my hands. So, yeah, retail. I gotta say, that is an issue with like upper management. I just think, period. Unless it is I mean, you'll know. In certain companies, obviously, like, I obviously like a smaller company. The smaller the business, I've got to figure out how my hands are right here. Where are they? Right here. So they are here, which means the camera needs to come up a little bit like this. I'm trying to figure out how to get. Wait a minute. I can raise this thing. Sit comfortably. Don't kill your back for the stream. That's. Oh my gosh. Hi, Peter. Hi, friend. Wonderful to have you. Owl Shield. Yeah. I do gotta sit comfortably. Hey, alrighty. So, yeah, this is good. This is how I sit. And that's not too crazy of a zoom, I don't think. No, we can work with that. So, this little goofball. Okay, it's up here. Nope. Right here. You need to turn. Well, maybe you'll need to turn. Maybe. Eh? Let's see. Does that work? No. 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 Too high. You're keeping me company at work. Oh, yay. Glad to do so. Oh my goodness. I'm happy to keep people company at work. I like doing it. There we go. Man, that took a while, but I'm feeling good about that. Hey. Wah. Wah. Yeah. Now that looks like it's in focused. Okay, so we are going. Okay, maybe a smidgen higher. Smidgen higher. No! Right there. Just a smidgen. Just a smidgen. It's just a flesh wound. All right, here we go. Ha ha! Okay, I did it. Yay. Okay, man, that's great. Now I can sit comfortably. Now I can sit pretty and work on this little guy. One more. There we go. That's it. Huzzah. Okay, so the night. Bum ba da bum 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 bum. We're gonna do a little bit of shaving here. The number one thing that I'm gonna do. Oh boy, I forgot I cut a whole bunch of stuff off of him. So we're gonna add some fabric in here, and then we're probably gonna come in after that and do a little bit of filling, but probably not too much because honestly, I don't think we even need to feel that. Not feel, fill. We don't even need to feel it. I couldn't feel it to begin with. Gotta get out of the little corner in there. There we go. Yeah. Yeah, there we are. Easy peasy. Cheesy crazy. Alrighty. Get that little spot filled in there. Just in case. I don't want there to be any like, well, I thought I would tear part of the fabric there, and then you can see I didn't fill it. That is why I would fill in that kind of spot. Because sometimes that happens. Sometimes I'm like, man, it'd be really cool if there was like a hole in the fabric right there. It just looks naturally torn or something, and then it's just like, oh, I forgot to fill in that spot. Well, I shouldn't have done that. So usually for just hole filling, I only do just straight epoxy sculpt, but because I knew that I was going to be doing some like detail work, that is where the green stuff comes into it. I don't know where that piece of green that I just had went. I think it fell off. Get back here. I said get back here. Do the thing. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. Looking pretty content. Looking like a filled in little hole. Nope. There we go. A whole bunch more on that side. Turns out, made too big of a hole than I thought. That's what happens when you just hack models up and then hack them up even further and then put them together and then put more hacking in, and then next thing you know, he's just covered in holes. So yeah, I'm not going to do anything with that. We're going to just go straight into, I'm going to scratch this stuff off. I'm going to remove those 3 little dots there because they definitely look very Nurgle-esque. Let's see, we're going to scratch this little indentation out. We want to get that smoothed, but not too smooth. So we're going to make sure it's a little scratched up. Yeah, so there was another little Nurgle icon down here that I cut off of the fabric. We're going to replace that fabric with some metal, like little film. Hey, there's another little symbol. We got to get that. Don't want any of those 3 little dots. No one's going to let you in the castle if they think you got the plague. That's a pro tip. Don't let anyone in the castle if you think they've got the plague. Mask of the Red Death, babies. That's my favorite Poe story. Always has been. It's very gnarly. My least favorite story is The Black Cat. Really did not care for that one. Cannot stress that enough. If you are a fan of Keaty's, I also would highly recommend you not read it. Not good. I don't like it. Really like Cats of Ulthar. That's not... Wait a minute. I just jumped real hard. I'm sorry, my brain. I was like, yeah, I'm talking about Poe. And then I was like, Cats of Ulthar. That's not Poe. That's Lovecraft. I made the connection with the Black Cat. Oh, silly brain of mine. There's another. Quit having 3 small bumps in places. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah. Man, I don't know if I want to keep... I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep the chainmail there. Because I don't want to cover... I don't want to do the arm underneath for sure. So, my initial thought of how this character is going to be equipped as far as like equipment and stuff was he has a... The helmet is so Kelly's favorite video game. I was gonna say movie game. Her favorite movie game is the 1997 Laserdisc. No, I'm just kidding. Laserdisc classic. Jumanji. At one point in time, I'm trying to remember, I saw something on Laserdisc. It might have been the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. I found it on Laserdisc somewhere, and I'm like, I don't think I needed that, but it was funny. I always found Laserdiscs very fun. Just a giant floppy record with good quality, but it doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand how Laserdiscs really worked. Records, I completely get that, but yeah, silly, just silly. If you don't know what a Laserdisc is, all you need to know is I'm just old. That's it. Alrighty. I'm thinking that's good. Honestly, ooh, okay. Well, I didn't intend on having asymmetrical shoulder pads. I kind of like that having a lip and that one not. That might look really rad. And I think we're gonna roll with that. Ooh, or maybe. So yeah, I never finished that thought. We're getting ready to get real weird here. So I might put that green stuff up. I'm gonna put some green stuff up because we are done doing that right now. So green stuff. When I am not using it, I typically will roll it up in a little ball like this, and then I will grab a little baggie. I gotta find a little baggie. Gotta get up carefully. I'm feeling much better today, though. Way better than I did yesterday. I'll tell you what. Man, I really wish I knew what that. If anyone, I can't stress enough. If anyone ever thinks of what that is, let me know. It's a tune, and it goes, na, 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 na. And it's just the noise that I make, like naturally. It's autopilot. I was thinking about this last night. I haven't had Pallet Town like blast into my brain in a while, but I was laying in bed last night and I was just thinking about how that was a thing that I was like really afraid of for a very long time. Every time I would get in bed was I would know that there would just be a section where my brain is just like, hey, it's not time to go to sleep yet, bud. Are you ready to hear Pallet Town? And I'm like, no, and it's just Pallet Town from Pokemon Yellow or Red Blue. Just that music on loop in my brain while I'm trying to sleep, because I think I just played so much Pokemon as a kid that it just like was like a soundtrack in the back of my head for a while. I'm not trying to I'm not leaving you. I'm still here. Hopefully this picks me up. Yeah, hopefully this picks me up. So I'm gonna step on the other side and put this in the deep freeze. So yeah, what I do, I take my green stuff that I've been working on and I put it in a little zip baggie filled with water, and then I put it in the freezer. I used to have to go upstairs, but I got deep freeze now. So yeah, it's convenient. There it is. Yeah, so green stuff. And there definitely is a line of, hey, this is gonna work, and then a line of like, oh, I waited too long. And that's where I was yesterday. If you guys watched me yesterday sculpting, I got pretty much to like 10 something, and then I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna stop here. That green stuff had been out long enough that it did not keep properly. When I opened it back up, I pretty much had to like roll it into a little ball because it was already too firm to do any like sculpting with. You could use it for like filling in holes, but even filling in holes, you would not be able to like smooth it level. So, which is frustrating, but it'll get turned into something. Other news. What other news do I have to tell you guys? I am excited. I'm gonna pop off these gloves. Bam, bam, baby. Don't look at my hands. Gosh, my fingers are really gross looking. I'm not gonna. Okay, I will. I'm gonna pop right here real quick. I'm not gonna do it on where you can see because I don't want to be gross, but I am gonna go ahead and clean my nails just a little bit so you all aren't like, man, Eli's a gross person. I'm not gross, I promise. So, one of the things that I'm really thinking we're gonna have to do is put some kind of metal on that shield. I really like the idea of having like a brace almost. That shield is from the Blight Kings as well. The mace is from 1490 Doom. So Willem, I think. Yeah, this is Willem. This is also Willem. This is not Willem. This is Bertrand. So, I believe. So these are the main characters from, well, these are the main character. This is just another, there's two versions of Wilhelm. The main character from the 1490 Doom supplement, The Fall of Rotberg, which I've not done any playing of it yet. I will absolutely stream the playthrough of that. I'm very excited. That's one of the things that we are building up to. All of this, all that I'm doing, I want to show how I make the things, but I can't stress enough, the majority of when I think of, hey, what is the entertainment of this going to be? I want to be able to film games the way that they feel when we play them at events, or when I do narrative gaming with my friends. I want to film and show you how I do what I do, because that's the best way to show it. And trying to explain it, I don't know. A picture's worth 1,000 words, so how much is a video worth, babies? Anyhow, this is a dog. His name's Bertrand, I think. And that is Wilhelm. They were the, or that they, he, Wilhelm, this one, the other alternate sculpt of Wilhelm. While we have been playing and just learning the rules and stuff, this is what Kelly has used as her knight. But now that she's got this guy, we're going to be switching him back out to there. So, and man, I'm happy with them. Kelly's guys are all, well, these two specifically, they're very supposed to be influenced by BioShock, which is her favorite game. The aesthetic is just something that I knew she would be really a fan of, so I wanted to keep that. This is the only one whose hat doesn't remind me too much. Like, he's not as much, in the same vein as BioShock. I'm really excited to finish this guy too, just to tie that little, I could use some green stuff there, kiddos. Oh well. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start scratching in on this mace handle. Holy shit, it's already 9:21. I've been doing this for like almost an hour and a half, really? Shit. So yeah, hey, there's the thing. If you do what you love, as they say, with that said, hey, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. She got good taste. She does. My girl got good taste. She is the one who introduced me to BioShock. At the time, my favorite game, so it's my second favorite game, currently, still. And the only reason that it's not my main still is I found my real favorite game. But Dead Space, I've loved Dead Space since the first time I played it. That game fucked me up. I cannot stress. I wish I could have experienced being around me during that first week, just so I could know what it was like, but I'm sure I was a fucking mess. I distinctly remember going to my buddy Cameron's house at one point in time and sitting in his room, and we had to close the blinds, like on the back door. I was like, dude, is it cool if I close those blinds? Like, I'm seeing shit out of the corner of my eyes because I'm so anxious, because I'm so afraid there's going to be something crawling out of the goddamn air vents at any moment. I was a nervous wreck. I loved that game. God, I was so nervous and scared of everything, even in my real life. I loved it. It's my favorite game. Until Bloodborne. Once I played Bloodborne, that Dead Space is my second. Bloodborne is my favorite game, though. That it utterly redefined how I look at storytelling, which all of what I do, making models, the things that I enjoy, that all they are is storytelling. And it made me evaluate what good storytelling actually is. I'm still in the Chalice Dungeons most months. I cannot stress enough. I have said this to so many people, and I am not kidding. If you're like, hey, I wish I had someone to hang out in the Chalice Dungeons with me, your boy wants to all the time. I love Bloodborne. I want to say Nikki. I think it was Nikki. When Nikki was, she posted something. I don't know how long it's been, but I remember I was just like, Nikki, please, please invite me. Please invite me. I just, anytime someone is like, hey, I play Bloodborne and I'm starting to do Bloodborne, I'm just like, dude, and I can't stress enough. I was heartbroken when I realized that they had finally mapped it all out. I love that, and I hate it because knowing that it has been fully mapped out takes away that. Got invaded last week. Jump scared me so bad. Yeah, same. I. It's just because until they finished mapping it, it was, and that's it. If you don't finish the story's never finished, and that is why I have never, and I'm not gonna bash. I'm not gonna bash. It's just my opinion. I am really, I never was a fan of moving this story forward with 40K. I think that was a mistake, and I think that is what, I don't know. And at the end of the day, I mean that's the, it's exactly what I was gonna say. When you open the Bible, you better fucking add good stuff to it, because if you take a shit in it, everyone's gonna be angry, even the people that would have liked what you did. It's just the fact that you felt the need to mess with it, and that's the first. I cannot stress enough. And I was talking to Kelly about this. I come off very. I don't come off. I am hyper passionate about things that I love because they bring me so much joy, and they've helped me get through so much stuff that I've needed something to help me get through. I've needed. There've absolutely been times, growing up, that I needed escapism to survive. Like, and the worlds that were there for me are like a very special part. Like I love them for their faults and whatnot, and I cannot stress this enough. The glaring issues with their IPs, in some instances, have always been issues for me. I've never been one to. I distinctly remember one of the most, and I'm ashamed of it now that I think about it. But I can remember distinctly helping Kelly make her character for Death Watch, and explaining why Space Marines can't be female. And it's just like, yeah, the science is absolutely idiotic. So look past that. It's just part of the lore, blah, blah, blah. And I regret that thoroughly. Um, I should have been a better GM. I should have bent that, because that's so stupid. And I think that's the whole thing that I am with GW is, if you're going to open the Bible and take a shit in it, why not fix some things while you're in there? And the first thing that would have been the easiest fix was making to where anybody could be a Space Marine. If you're already making it to where, yep, we don't care about the lore that we've clearly established, and we are ruining. I mean, we're just throwing so much into the blender anyway. Why not actually do some good with it? And I realize that there's all kinds of reasons, there's all kinds of opinions, and at the end of the day, I just can't get past anything other than, I don't think that it was done for any reason other than money. And I think that the biggest demographic that is the loudest is the one that is really upset about, women and other anyone that does not fit the mold, quote unquote, enjoying their game, which is insane for me, because since I have been playing, Warhammer or little miniature games for 27 years, it's wild how the best games I've had did not involve any of the people that seem to be very diehard and very, very passionate about it. It's just like, man, I don't know. Everybody wants different things. And I saw something on Reddit yesterday talking about YouTube channels, and they were explaining, or someone mentioned, anytime that narrative players throw shade at the comp scene, and that's, I cannot stress this enough. It's if I am throwing any shade at that, it's because I don't want to be in that scene. It's just not the kind of game that I enjoy, and I'm very aware of that. I don't mean to poke fun if I do. It's just more of a, I can't stress enough. It's like it's just talking in two different languages. It's the same concept. It's the same. It's a game. The rules are supposed to work for both. They don't. But everybody just wants something different when they sit down at the table to play a game. Typically, they just want to relax. Some people have other intentions. It's everybody. You just need to find a group. Find people that are like-minded. And also, yeah, don't put up with Nazi shit. You don't have to. I am sorry if any of this is incoherent or just seems like I'm rambling. You all know how I do. Oh my God, my hand's in the box. Okay, I'm sorry. There we go. Alrighty, I'm just trying to file down this little mace handle. Just in case anyone is wondering, hey, what is that? So that is another piece of this 0.5 millimeter thick metal. It's not breaking. This stuff is very, I could not. It's the strongest little metal that I use. I have to very firmly use these to cut it, and then oftentimes it doesn't even cut. I have to like kind of grab the end and bend. Very, very thick. It's music wire. So music wire is solid steel to my knowledge. I've got another one right here. So that is what is inside of here. You can kind of see it, but when they take guitar strings, they essentially use steel cable, or some other kind of metal, but then it's wrapped very, 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 very tightly to get that thickness, depending on which string it's supposed to be on, which gauge it is. Another thing to explain fully how I do my biz, I keep all of my guitar strings in here, and I have them sorted by thickness. The one that I use the most is a low E from a set of 12s. That's because that's what I like to play. It is 0.95 millimeters, so it's 1 millimeter. It's essentially a 1 millimeter thickness cable. That is a low E, right? I'm saying that, and now I'm like, I don't know if that is. Maybe it's an A. I think it's a low E. But yeah, so I have all of them sorted depending on the actual width. I would recommend, if you are wanting to store your stuff in a functional kind of way, I don't have any better tip other than rolling them up in bags, and then keeping each one with a little tab that says how much it is. And then I have got to bounce for a meeting. Catch you soon. Sounds good. Thank you so much for hanging out. Wonderful to have you. Peter, everyone. Everyone go play Necropolis. It's dope. I need to get on that, but I gotta work through this game first. Yeah, so essentially I've got a whole bunch of bits that are, you know which size they are because it says what size they are. But having each one of these individually separated lets me know, hey, if I want to have this thickness, this is the size of bit that I need to use. And that means that I don't have to make too big of a hole. Play 1490 instead, it's way cooler. I have yet to play a game of Necropolis, but I've only heard wonderful things about it. So you are too humble, my friend. We will get there. We will get there soon. Take care and have a good day. Thank you so much for joining again. Now I'm starting to doubt what I said. I feel like I'm gonna have to open. I'm sorry. I don't want to give you all wrong information. And let me explain this before anyone is just like, Eli can't stand to be wrong. That's not true. I do not like to be incorrect in what I say because I don't like to tell people things that are wrong. I try to take I try my best to explain what I mean and how I say it, because I'm very aware that the way that I express myself is not within normal standards of how I think people. Fuck me. Nope, it's not. Okay, so A, it's an A. I did say it might be an A. So E, B, G, D, A, E, A. A is the red. The red is my favorite. And these are 12s. So I only play D'Addario 12s. So what does that mean for anybody that does not know? That means that this string, the very highest string, I'm gonna grab a guitar. The very highest string, which is physically the lowest string, is a 12, 12 gauge. Gotta grab the Dungeon Daddy. All right, you're Dungeon Daddy. That is a high E. I don't really fuck with those because, as you can tell, they are not wrapped in anything. That is a straight piece of wire, very similar to this. I don't use them too often other than for pinning, mainly because they don't look like a cable. If I'm using a straight cable, then I'm just going to use something plastic or wire or anything else. I'm not going to put forth the effort to try and bend this. However, that's an A. This would be the low E. Even though you hold it like that, it goes up E, B, G, D, A, E. Anyhow, the difference between them is 1 octave. I'm not going to talk about music theory. I was just doing that to demonstrate to you what strings I use for what. And as far as, hey, why do you use so many guitar strings? Well, I've got a lot of guitars, and I've got even more friends who have guitars. So this, I'll show this. Eventually, these were my cousins, and we don't use the same kind of strings, but when he passed away, this is a pack of strings that he had, and I have been holding on to them, and they eventually will be used. They eventually will be used in models of some kind. These are acoustic strings, so they are going to be a lot thicker, and that is where, when you look at my awful pile of strings, acoustic ones are going to be these really dark brown ones, or gold brass looking almost. They are just different, and it all has to do with guitars reverberate sound and whatnot, how all that works. So I just thought I would share that little personal thing. If you were making a demon weapon in Black Crusade or Dark Heresy or anything like that, you would get benefits for using a weapon wrought with purpose, or something that has so what I'm trying to explain, a lot of what I do is not just physical. I mean, so much of when I go to make art is emotional, spiritual. I don't like to just make things to make them. There's always a story, typically, with what I make. When you're making a demon weapon in Black Crusade, there's a bunch of rules for it, and it's supposed to represent the way that they actually work in the lore. So, which is something that I've always loved, and I think that one of the best, I can't stress enough, the best instance of that being handled is the Black Legion books by Aaron Dembski-Bowden. I think he handles demonology in the 40K universe in a way that it's like the first time I've read someone else match exactly how it is in my head. It's the warp is a mirror. It creates a reflection of your actions and what you do. So when you go to make something to house a creature of emotion, you need to have the right tools to do that. And it's not something you can do with science. It is emotion. So one of the big parts in that game, say, was, oh, if you want to turn one of your weapons into a demon weapon, you would get benefits if it was, say, wrought for purpose. Like, say that this thing was made exclusively to have a demon bound in it. Or if it was like a legacy of slaughter. If you've killed like X amount of enemies and you've been keeping tally, if it got to an absurd amount, you're like, okay, well, this is a sacred number of so-and-so. Now my blade is ready. You know, making the physical item match an emotional or a metaphysical connection. That's a big part of the lore, and that's a big part of how I like to make my demons, because I like to look at them not just as a piece, but as a concept, I'm making the physical embodiment of that thing that I'm trying to make. And I think that the more of me that I put into it, it's a lot more apparent. And it's like a lot of my demons, the things that I think make people uncomfortable it's just tapping into the absolute most animalistic hindbrain part of what makes people human. And it's very fun. I love watching people look at them and slowly go from like one really disturbing aspect to another, and just try and be like, I don't know how I feel about that. And just like, that's how you're supposed to feel. It's supposed to make you feel upset. It's supposed to make you feel. That's it. Anywho, that's a long rant about guitar strings and about emotion and about that kind of stuff. So let's get back to work for a little bit. We got about 19 minutes before I need to stop. I'm really enjoying doing the 8 to 10 Eastern time. Also, if I've just been talking nonstop and you guys are like, man, we don't really want to listen to this nonstop. If you have any questions or anything, please, by all means, interrupt me. Alrighty. We're going to start doing fabric here. So, man, did I do it again? No, not completely cold. Not warm though. Wasn't the best. Okay. Also, I'm thinking I'm gonna end up filling that. I'm gonna end up filling the little. Oh, I feel all right. All right, possum. Well, good. That little face looks very sad. Just, yeah, alrighty. So we need to put some fabric on them, and I'm thinking we're definitely gonna go with this stuff. This is a champagne bottle wrapper, or maybe wine. Who's to say? Uh-oh, we got a tear. That's okay, we won't use that part. Yeah, so I was gonna say, anyone that has not seen Bring Her Back, having now watched Speak No Evil, I did not find too much of a connection, and I would welcome back to my California mandates yearly harassment training. I don't miss those. I don't miss trainings that are wild. At least that's how all the ones that I had to go through. Like, they were typically a video that was made in 1980, or it looks like it was. It looks like they went back in time and made this video because of the low production quality, featuring people that are just wild. It's just like, I don't think I've ever met anyone that crazy in my life, and I'm a pretty crazy person myself. So I like that, but that does not look like what I'm wanting. This regularly updated, but it's required to be now. Oh my gosh, man. Oh boy. That doesn't sound fun at all, Possum. I'm really sorry to hear that that's what you're doing right now. Man, I don't know. How does this... Let me take a peep at another night. How's this little thing look? Okay. Chainmail. You got some chainmail hanging down. Chainmail's really cool, so we'll probably do some chainmail too. Not to be a copycat. I know, so we're gonna do that first. No, we're not. I know I'm gonna take a strap that is going to essentially connect this to there. First and foremost, we're gonna need to put a cable on the back of that head. So let's do that first, because I know that's happening. And this is going to be a tight bend. So we are not going to be doing it the way that you probably think. We want to do it before we cut it, so we do not have the break. The break is what we are trying to avoid every time we fuck with guitar cables, my sweets. And that, if you see someone that is complaining about them, they don't know about the break. You gotta work the break into it. And it has to be part of how you already start from the beginning in your plans. You need to know that that's going to happen, and you need to dictate where it's going to happen. And what I mean by the break is, I don't want to, I'll do it here at the very end. So let's say that I was so inclined to try this and not know what I know now, what I know then. And I went in here like this to bend. That's the break. See that? That's the break right here. Where that corner is, where that turn is, if you hard bend, if you bend it with a pair of pliers, you are going to cause a break. And that is essentially all of the cable that is wrapped around the wire that looks like this down in the middle. If you pull it too hard, you are going to cause them to come separated, and it will be more noticeable once it's painted. And that's not a, if that doesn't bother you, then absolutely, no worries there. Me, it bothers me, because I absolutely, if I'm putting in the time to make something look the way that I really have it envisioned in my head, I don't want there to be a small bend that breaks that immersion for me, just since I put forth that much effort into it already at this point. All right, so the way that this is connected, it would probably go out like that. Now, as far as getting it to turn and go up to its head, it's almost would be better if it was turned sideways, but I don't know how functional that would be. So we're going to definitely cut that. We're going to have it go this way. So where the tip of that bottle is going to be cut. It's right here. And then we're going to drill a little hole in there. This is a 0.95. No, it's not. That's 0.95. This is not. This is more. We're not going to use this. But that's the bend. We're going to recreate that right here with a slightly smaller gauge. Also, the bend that I mentioned there, it will be less and less noticeable the smaller your gauge of wire is. However, it will still be noticeable, and more so once painted, as all things. So how do we get around that? Well, start to bend further in than you think you need to, and actually get the wire to kind of bend even at rest. You want to just not do too hard of a bend. Yep, and see, we have got a nice little curl here now. Because the steel wire in there is, that's what we're bending. We're not bending the rest of it, we're bending that steel wire. And we just have to do it just enough. Just enough, that's it. So, now we can take this, we're gonna run up here. It's gonna connect I'm thinking, do we want it to go under the helmet or into the back? I'm thinking we want it to go up under there. So we're probably going to cut it right there. We're going to bend this. So, and here we're going to try to achieve a 180-degree bend using by trying to do the bend further in than we need to, we are going to keep all of that cable that is wrapped around this wire nice and tight. Hopefully you guys can see that. But that is the biggest difficulty, I think, for people understanding how to work with guitar strings, how to work with guitar wire when doing cabling, is it's not how you would think it is. And it's, see, I've fucked up. I fucked up too much. I tried to bend too hard. But right there, I'm starting to get the break. Any more, and that will absolutely be a very noticeable, and you can see it. So you can see that my curve is gone. And that's where I'm going to cut. Yes, ma'am. There we go. That would work. But this is the one that I actually was planning on using. I'm happy with that. Is that too bent? How are we looking? We want to have a very natural curve, because it will look, the more that we dial in everything else, again, it's all a matter of layer on top of layer on top of layer on top of layer. And that's how really I do my stuff. It's all a matter of the details adding up. The more details you put in that seem to kind of make the character seem real, the more important they are, that they are proportioned, and that they are, it's gonna be good. Oh yeah, I'm happy with that. So now here's the real question. Do I want to go that way, or should I have gone this way? That almost looks better, but and I don't want to go out the top. Yeah, I'm gonna, yeah. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna have to bend that way. I think, no? Yep, there we go. What did I just flick off? I just flicked something off of him. I heard it hit there. It might have been, I don't know. Maybe it was a piece of this. Alrighty, so this is going to curve that way. This goes this way. Yeah, at the end of the day, while you do absolutely need for certain bends to have a hard pair of pliers, sometimes the key to getting the actual shape that you want from your guitar wire is not, you don't need pliers. That's actually going to be your downfall. I'm so close to messing this up and getting it unwound, or getting the break in there, but it's really close. And And it's, I think mainly it's just even pressure. I'm trying to explain this while also trying to actually think about how I'm doing it. Um, and that's the biggest issue. The biggest issue is when you've been doing something for so long, you don't think about how you do it. So trying to explain it to others is difficult. However, I think showing it while I'm doing it and trying to explain how I'm doing it kind of adds up. So hopefully that does. Hopefully this helps other people with, you know, doing guitar wiring on their models or miniatures or art or whatever you're using yours for. That bend's too fucking tight. I don't, nope. I'm not loving that. It does not look natural. I need to go back to I think I want to work on sci-fi minis. I've been unable to get myself to the hobby desk, and I think I need to work on something not fantasy for a while. I cannot stress enough, my dear, dear possum, I understand that. And yeah, that, I absolutely really want to work on stuff for Necropolis, but I know who I am, and I have to have a very, very good sci-fi, like, wash after all of the fantasy and like lower tech stuff. That's working on the Flames of Orion stuff. That's where that came from. I absolutely was just getting too much fantasy, especially, you know, printing out all the other stuff. It's just, yeah, sometimes you need a change. And that, oh yeah, there we go. Okay, that was it. It needs to be on that side. That's gonna look better. I really think that's gonna look better. And I might flip that. I'm gonna cut that, flip it. I think I want it. Yeah, that's gonna look so sick. We're gonna put that to where it's going in like almost underneath. We're gonna have it come up under here. And then on the other side, we're probably gonna put, I'm gonna put some kind of little chimney. And the way that I'm thinking this is, and the same thing with the Brute, trying to think from a actual functional standpoint. Hey, how would this helmet work? If it's an oxygen tank, it's just going to be letting in oxygen into his helmet. And then I cannot stress enough, this is not how an actual diver's helmet works. This should work, not like, it's not ideal. You couldn't go into the ocean like this, but you would decompress. But having it to where, man, that bend is just, it is just slightly off. I'm trying to get that fixed, but also, oh boy, I am trying not. This little guy right here, I cannot stress enough how many times I have cut myself on guitar strings, whether doing this, whether putting them on, right there. That little itty as an AI avatar. What the fuck is this training? Well, I don't even. I like that. That's fun. Is it learning how AI is going to start harassing you? That would be wild. I can't stress enough how much that sounds like something that I would have had to go to at my old job. Corporate training of like recognizing when your fellow employee is actually an AI. They're going to have a hard time with that. That's actually fun. That's fun. I like that. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's 10 o'clock. Well, we're going to make this cut, and then we're going to put that guy right in there, I think. Yeah. Yeah. That's fun. Okay, so let's flip this bad boy. Oh no! We lost the shoulder pad. We'll fix that. We'll fix that in post. No one will ever know. Alrighty. These are 1 millimeter. This is not. No, maybe it is. Maybe this guy is 1 millimeter too. I don't think it is. We'll figure it out. No, because they're AI. They don't experience harassment. Oh my god. Now, can they not harass you though? I feel like I've been harassed by some AI before. I've absolutely been harassed by AI before. I might not be able to harass them back. I don't know. Yeah, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. Someone's gonna be like, I got harassed by this AI robot, and it was an employee of your company. If that's not happened yet, it's coming. And I'm not laughing about that. I'm just at this point, it's like, yeah, well, that's if we start having AIs doing things instead of humans, when they start doing all the things that humans do, we can't be surprised. Ah, I did it. I donked up. I put a bend in there. And now we're going to have to tie because I'm not redoing that. I'm going to have to put a little rope on there to hide it. Maybe. I don't know, actually. Maybe not. Wait a minute. Wait. That looks kind of cool. Maybe at an angle? Oh, that might be it. That looks dope. Okay. Nope, the angle. I like the angle. That's good. Let's go with that. Got a little bend in here. I'm gonna stop in just a second, but I kind of want to dial this in. Yeah, right under there. Beep. Yeah. We're gonna go a little bit of a hole right here. Doo-doo-doo. Yes, I'm here for it. Hell yeah. That looks rad as fuck. Actually, I think my initial plan worked. I think I can... Yeah, there we go, bud. Hey. Push, 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 slight pushes. We don't want to bend it too much. Huzzah. Yeah, that looks great. I'm so happy with that. All right, my sweets, I think that does it. I think we're going to glue this guy in here. This little cable. And I'm going to glue that little back right there. We're going to hit it with some zip kicker. And then I'm going to pick up this little shoulder pad. We're going to glue it right back there. I'm loving this night. Hello. Yeah. Yes. That's great. I like that. So we got our little gas thing going in there. Man, those are so close to bending, but they did not. We did a great job. I'm very proud of us. So I think probably what's going to end up happening is he's probably going to get some kind of little thing on the other side, like a little tube, very orc knob-esque, like a little chimney. I'm thinking the oxygen comes in here, you're breathing, exchange, CO2 goes out through the little tube at the top. That's how I'm imagining all these little kind of helmets work. These very basic gas masks. Yeah, I'm liking that a lot. That's gonna be rad. Yeah, so from there, today is Wednesday. I am going, I'm actually here in a little bit going to be going to go visit my uncle, which I've been meaning to do for a hot minute. So I'm pretty excited about that. And then, yeah, tomorrow we will be picking back up on Dying World Thursday, but I will be here in the morning as well, as always, my sweets. So with that said, thank you so much for hanging out. If you guys have any comments, questions, please, put them there. I am actively now going to be looking at comments and answering and responding to stuff. So while I get things more set up, but we're doing good on time. It's only August 6th. I'm really excited. Should be done with these and have them painted probably next week, which means that we'll be painting and then on to the castle. Thank you, Possum. Thank you, Possum. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Roz. Thank you, Adam. Everybody, Gardner. Everybody who hopped on and chat with me for a while. Keep me company. It really means the world. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Take care. Sit pretty. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. Thank you again.